Chances are you've heard of protein powders and thought of adding them in your diet. And because on an average adults need at least 50 to 60 grams of protein per day, for most of us that's far too large an amount to get easily from our regular diet. And so we all consider supplementation. But what protein should you consume? Is whey the only option? Or are there other vegan options as well? And irrespective of the source, how do you judge if a particular brand of protein is clean or not? I'll answer this and a lot more in today's episode of the Whole Truth Academy. Before we get into the content though, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you don't miss another video from the Whole Truth Academy. Now that that's out of the way, let's start with some basics. What is protein? Proteins are made up of amino acids, 9 of which are known as essential amino acids. Essential because your body can't make these, so you have to get them from your food. A complete protein contains sufficient amounts of all these 9 essential amino acids. Incomplete proteins are either lacking or low in one or more of them. So we have to keep two things in mind. One, you want a complete protein source with all 9 amino acids. And two, it should have high bioavailability, which is a measure of how easily a protein gets absorbed into our bloodstream. Cool, with those basics sorted, now let's choose our source of protein. Whey, which is derived from dairy, is the most popular form of protein. It has the highest bioavailability and is a complete source of protein. The other reason for its popularity is also that, unlike most vegan proteins, it doesn't have that foul, rancid taste. But of course, if you're lactose intolerant or trying to turn vegan, whey gets ruled out. Instead, plant-based options such as rice, soy and pea protein come in. And these three are the only complete sources of protein amongst vegan options, with rice being the most bioavailable. And vegan powders may taste a tad foul or even have a grittier texture to them which puts people off, but that's just because they're derived from plants and hence have more natural fiber while raw whey doesn't. Once you've chosen a source between whey and vegan, the next step is to look at the protein concentration. Depending on how much the source of your protein has been processed, you're either having whole protein or concentrate or isolate. Whole protein is when the source ingredient is ground in its entirety without undergoing any treatment. On the other end of the spectrum are isolates, in which just the protein in the ingredient is isolated from the rest of the components. That's about 90% protein and 10% odd of fats and carbs. And in the middle, you have concentrates. That's about 80% of protein and 20% of fats and carbs. Similar refinement process as isolates, but lesser treatment. The process of refining whole proteins into isolates strips off almost everything except the protein. So you're missing out on a lot of the good stuff such as antioxidants, fiber, etc. And that's not it. Some research actually suggests that you'll be consuming trace amounts of metals when you reach for isolates and concentrates. And no, not all metals are bad, but consumed repeatedly over a long period of time, they can be. So it's a good practice to limit these in your diet. Overall, hence, nutritionally, the better choice is reaching for whole proteins. Of course, even the best plant-based whole protein is a waste if it is filled with other additives and junk like artificial flavors, sugars, emulsifiers and anti-cakers. And unfortunately, most protein powders in the market are full of this junk. So let's demystify this too. First, let's talk about sweeteners. Most protein shakes today basically taste like dessert. And we all know that sugar isn't naturally present in these powders. So where is this sweetness coming from? Well, check the ingredients and chances are you'll see one of these. These are all artificial sweeteners or sugar alcohols. And the big daddy that's there in most powders is sucralose. What is sucralose? We did a full lowdown on artificial sweeteners in a previous video. Do check it out here. But talking about sweeteners in protein powders, the question is, why are they even there in this supposedly healthy supplement? And the short answer to that is, to make it tasty. Just like any other packaged food, even the protein powder brands need to sell their stuff, right? So they sell you a low calorie, high protein, chocolatey drink and we all guzzle it up. What's the problem? Well, there are two. One, impact on overall health. Artificial sweeteners are proven to be detrimental to your gut health, and your gut health is responsible for immunity, digestion, and your mental health. And two, reduced nutritional absorption. A study by Duke University Medical Center described that a sucralose based product not only significantly reduced beneficial bacteria in the gut, but also decreased the amount of nutrients one can absorb. So, yeah, so much for healthy. The second additive you need to worry about is emulsifiers. Have you ever wondered how these protein shakes have the consistency of a thick chocolate shake you would get at your fast food stores? This is because emulsifiers are added to them which create the creamy mouthfeel and texture. So you may find stuff like carrageenan, carboxymethyl cellulose and silicon dioxide in your protein powder. I got tired just saying that. Some of these emulsifiers like carrageenan are particularly bad because they cause gastrointestinal issues. And don't even get me started on hydrogenated oils and fats that are often found in these powders too. So in summary, first, pick your preferred source of protein. It can be whey, pea, soy, rice, etc. Whey is a great option if you're not lactose intolerant, and rice is the most bioavailable plant-based option. 2. Once you've done this, pick a type of protein, that is whole, concentrate or isolate. Whole is the cleanest but high on carb, isolate is the highest on protein but the most processed, and concentrate is somewhere in the middle. And once you have this, add other natural stuff to your shakes like bananas, dates, cashews, almonds, and maybe a dash of some raw cacao powder to make it taste good. There, now you still have your 20 odd grams of protein and lots of other healthy carbs and fats and a yum meal all rolled into one. If you like this video, share it with someone that could benefit from it, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Ciao for now.